Matrix, 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 Matrix.
Hi, I'm Neo Matrix, and recently I had to make a choice. Neo's choice. And I want to tell you why that decision matters. Let's go back to the start. My name's Neo, and I lived my life basking in the glow of a computer monitor, also called screen. By day, pretty average Joe. Regular job on a computer. By night, I'm deep down, digging deep data in the deep web. As a computer hacker, breaking through firewalls behind closed doors. Because I thought that was the way to find the truth. The truth. And I thought that was the way to find the truth. But let me tell you, when I found the truth, heck. As you'll see, we've got a bit of reconstructed footage here. And this guy is one of the agents. I don't know what they're agents of, particularly that mystery stands. They wanted me to go with them. I believe it was very relevant to the choice at hand. I did not want to go with them, but they were physically strong men. And as the old adage tells us, can't fight men. And if you watch very carefully, I believe you'll see something that is a little bit magical in this scene. But I believe it to be science magic. I know my rights. I want one phone call. This person is me. That's what I look like when I'm not wearing my tiny sunglasses. Everyone's wearing tiny sunglasses now. MORPHEUS, Trinity, who's only one person. And actually, I feel I'm a lot more confident when I've got them on. What I reckon it is, it's like looking at a screen or looking through a screen. It's like being on a computer in my eyes. See, I could be crying behind these. I'm not crying.
As you can see, we've had our eye on you for quite some time, Mr. Anderson.
See, this is where I knew that the agents don't really get me. They don't know me, because they came in saying, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
But Mr. Anderson is my father's name. Legally speaking, I'm Mr. Anderson, but actually, my real name, my handle, is Neo. That's me. Anderson. Who can say? And to be perfectly honest, I'm not so big on Mr. either, but I realise that's a can of worms.
Mr. Anderson.
But if Agent Smith had been one of my special internet friends, he would have known. He would have called me Neo. Neo. It's like the sound of a motorbike. It's like the sound that a cat makes. Like a cat. I know my rights. I want one phone call.
But what good is a phone call, Mr. Anderson, if you're unable to speak?
Immediately I sensed there was something wrong. These weren't government agents. They weren't the FBI. Weren't the cops. Not the NYPD Blue.
If you're unable to speak,
using their computer wizardry, the agents sealed. They sealed my mouth closed. Is what I'm saying. As if it had never been there. Again, we're looking at a reenactment here, so we've had to fudge this with computers, but they did this in real life. Or so I thought. This is a bit that I keep coming back to, the specific moment with the mouse.
What use is a phone call when you can't speak?
Yeah, I've had time to think about this. I've had lots of time. Some would say I've been dwelling on this particular moment. Number one, depends on your definition of speak, depends on your definition of phone call. A pro hacker doesn't need a computer. You can actually hack a landline phone. Some of the first accommodation I ever had, there was a payphone in the hall, and you could call numbers, but you didn't need to put money in until you wanted to be heard, which was very good if you wanted to make a sinister phone call but that's bad, that's perverse. But also, you could call up if you wanted to vote for an international song contest, and it would say, your vote has been counted, and you wouldn't have to pay. You can totally hack a phone. Point two. Number two. What good is a phone call if you can't speak? If you're on the phone and you've got no mouth, you can cry through your nose. Crying is astonishing communication. So Agent Smith didn't think of that. Number three. This is the point that I keep wanting to come back to. Now, having my mouth removed That's a fundamental human horror, but it also plays into a very specific internet fetish. And I do live on the internet, so I'm not immune. I'm not immune to you know. Let's be frank. You open your mouth and you say what you got to say, and once that's taken away, it's dehumanizing in a way, and it's like, what else would be taken? It's taken away from you, and there's kind of a thrill, kind of a because of someone says, I need advice on this. Should I divorce my husband? Well, if I've got no mouth, I don't know. I don't have the weighty obligation of saying, sir, yes. To lose your mouth, to lose your capacity, your ability, suddenly to feel someone else overwhelmingly in control. There are reams of internet art about exactly this, about exactly... there's stories, art. There doesn't seem to be any music about this. Magically, loss of mouth. People will have their mouths glued shut. If you look on the I know video on the web is still in its formative stages at this point, but people have attempted to glue their mouths shut. It's legitimately dangerous, but also you can totally get away with it. And the concept of the super glue kiss. And honestly, all the ones I've seen, they don't... I think they're not doing it properly, because they end up going in straight on in the way that has the noses sort of collide. But logically, you'd have the two people at a 90-degree angle to each other, so you can get a good seal. No one has. It's honestly disappointing and disgusting. So those are 3 things that I could have said to Agent Smith had I had a mouth. Had I only had a mouth, like in The Wizard of Oz. And then I woke up, and it had all been a dream, or had it? My thesis, no. But the nature of reality and what is waking and sleeping is actually the choice I came to talk to you about today. Neo's choice. Neo's choice. I mentioned a guy called Morpheus. The brain of Morpheus. So on one side you got the blue pill. On the other hand, the red pill. He actually literally was on his other hand. So it was easy to talk about. Maybe what all of us are after is just some comfort within myself. Look for truth and answers as a way to that, but it's obviously a comfort that this world is singularly failing to provide. There's just something... Is this it? It's what I always asked. And if this isn't it, thank goodness. If loss of mouth, communication, agency, capacity, being subtracted from that obligation, all that life admin of having to make choices and literally do things, if relief from that gives me such jollies, I think I really don't enjoy this what we call the world. It's just really it's annoying. And the thing that really makes the red pill seem the delicious option, I don't know if they actually have flavours. Morpheus said, we're gonna see how far down this rabbit hole goes. And I don't know if you've ever seriously considered going down a literal actual rabbit hole, but I have given this considerable thought. And I read about a person who went down a rabbit hole, and they just died. Got her head stuck in the warren, her arms trapped in the narrow. Given any depth of thought, this is a horrendous situation. Panic, tears, asphyxiation. Don't dwell on it. Don't think about this. But there must have been a moment there where she gave up fighting to extricate herself from the hole. She realised there's no point. I don't need to write any more Christmas cards. Don't need to look after my dog. Don't need to do all the obligatory things. I never need to wipe my bottom again. And isn't that all tremendously liberating? So I guess, I'm going to take the red pill choice. I don't know what which way you're inclined, but I just think go with... It's not the wise choice. Go with the choice that could be a catastrophe, because it's got to be better than this. And if it's poison, if we all just literally die, we're all going to literally die anyway, so don't act like that's not a thing. And until we meet again, if that should ever occur, good luck, goodbye, and good.
Matrix, 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 Matrix.